Everybody, it's Tom Jacobus with the Power Networking Club here for another Power Talk with Power partner Brian Rassi, CEO of Instigate. Instigate is your source for funding. If you're an entrepreneur and you are having trouble getting working capital, getting funding for your business, Brian Rassi is your guy. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tom. I always love coming on your show and catching up with you and your crew over there in Chicago. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we are very excited that you have agreed to come up to the Power Health and Wealth Super Expo Thursday, May 20th. It's going to be an all-day event from 11 to 8 at the Oak Brook Doubletree Hilton. You were one of our featured speakers 2 years ago when you and I met at Carolyn Greenleaf's Expo, and everybody was excited for the information that you always enrich us with, and you have since worked with several people you've come in contact with through the Power Networking Club, and we're excited that you're helping them. And we want to, get this message out and reach more entrepreneurs who might be struggling with funding, especially coming out of this pandemic. 2020 obviously has been the weirdest, strangest year, but I think the economy is roaring back, despite of what's going on politically or otherwise. I think entrepreneurs are roaring back. I'm seeing people here in Chicago out and about. Traffic is the way it was a year ago, pre-pandemic. Traffic is jammed up. People are out. They're tired of being closed in. So what advice do you have for entrepreneurs that might be a little leery about stepping out, getting that funding, growing that business right now, Brian?
Well, great question. And I'm glad to see that Chicago's opening back up. It's a big deal. For that city, for that state, and actually for this entire country to open up and kind of get back to doing business as it needs to get done. And when we talk about business, Tom, I have a personal philosophy over the years that your job as a CEO, as a business owner, as a partner, is you're always seeking to expand all areas of accessing capital, your cash flow, your revenue, your savings, your credit, how you get the money to get the business up and off the ground, your security, everything, even your retirement, your exit strategy. You should be focusing on that anyway. It's just not now. You got to be doing that all day, every day when you run the show. You got to make sure you can stay in business no matter if a pandemic hits. You need to figure out how you're going to stay in business for another 5, 10, 15 years until you exit your plan. And it's just not now. It's got to be in your mindset. We're doing this 24/7, 365, because that is your job as the CEO and the business owner.
Well said. Boy, that was powerful. You're absolutely spot on. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I don't know what your business hours are, but the business hours of your mind thinking about your business is 24/7, 365. I mean, when you're the CEO and you're the business owner, your thoughts never stop. I am constantly thinking about how to improve my business, how to help more people, how to grow my business so I can help more people and enrich myself. And you just absolutely nailed it there. I want to review for everyone who may not be aware of the expo coming up on May 20th. Brian's going to be one of several featured speakers, and our goal, our mission here coming out of the pandemic and back into the ballrooms of these brand name hotels all over Chicagoland, now that they're open, back open for business, is to connect us, a family of entrepreneurs, to connect us and help us all grow as quickly and efficiently as possible. What we do that's unique and different from anything I've ever seen in my life, my experience, is we're going to go from table to table with a camera crew, and we're going to film an approximate 1-minute video for every business. Now, what we're doing differently this year is what we've developed during the pandemic, when we continued networking every month through 2020 in smaller venues with 5 to 10 of us at a time. And we developed the concept of everyone going live on Facebook for each other, because what that does is that opens up everyone's platform to you. And, everyone can post those videos and share each other's videos not just there on Expo Day, but all year round. There may be some crossover. There may be a couple of competitors in the room. There's going to be dozens of vendors. We don't expect you to do that for your competitors. Obviously, that's common sense. But for anyone else that isn't directly in your category, if you connect with these people, these other vendors before, during, and after, and stay connected and keep sharing each other's videos, it's amazing what happens and how all of our business can grow. It's like forming a union for entrepreneurs. We're out there, solopreneurs. We're on our own. It's scary out there, especially when you're just starting out. And I remember starting out and how scary it was. And the reason I chose this field and chose to do this is because when I started, I was 27 years old. I thought I knew everything, but it takes a little while to discover you really knew nothing, right? And I made all the mistakes, lost significant amounts of money, learned the hard way. And so, I love networking. I love meeting new people and connecting. And that's how I met you, Brian, right? I was out there connecting at another expo. And, we're blessed that Carolyn Greenleaf is actually going to be a featured speaker with us. And I know you guys knew each other because you were a speaker at her event. So shout out to Carolyn Greenleaf. But just give us a little dose of what people are going to hear from you on May 20th, Brian.
Yeah, Tom. And I got to commend you, like your journey. And I've watched ever since I met you, I've watched the Power Networking Club grow, expand, adapt, pivot. And that's why I love coming up to Chi-Town in Chicago to visit you and the crew over there, because you have that energy, you have that pulse, you have that, we're going to get it done, Chicago style. And I tell you, that's infectious. And there's nothing like being around a like-minded crew that you've developed over there, which is awesome. But what we're going to talk about on that talk when I come in town is really, we're getting back to the basics, because I think people really need to understand, that there's just simple things that you have to do consistently on a daily basis that's going to increase your cash flow, increase your accessing to capital, and do it consistently. And I think people got out of whack in 2020 because everything else got pulled in their strings. So we're going to be talking about getting to that true end result. Then we're going to focus in on how to access the right money at the right time in the right way. And of course, then we're going to figure out how to actually get you there in a short amount of time so you can actually experience and finally fulfill that mission and vision that you always had for this business. And if you've been in business for a while, I promise you this will also accelerate you very, very rapidly just by being in the room and actually seeing what's about to happen, because I promise you it's been dialed in. It always continues to get dialed in over here at Instigate, where we have a very good success rate. And I tell you, no excuses to not get access to right money in today's day and age. I'm just telling you right now.
Right. And that's what, the Power Networking Club is excited about, helping entrepreneurs, because the big banks are not entrepreneur friendly. The big banks are big business friendly. That's just a fact of life. There are smaller banks that are more likely to help you. But Brian Rassi's got, I don't know how many years of experience in this category, Brian?
I started my teeth in 2004.
Yeah, so you've got 17 years of experience. This is all you do day in and day out. So the banks, the funding sources, how to leverage, all these relationships to help entrepreneurs. So the important thing for an entrepreneur to understand, especially when they're first getting started, is you can't possibly do it all. No matter how you think about it, I guarantee you, when you start thinking you can do it all, that's when you're going to get overwhelmed. And you need people to help you with marketing. You need people to help you with funding. You need people to help you in so many different areas. But marketing and funding are really two of the key areas, because if people don't know who you are and what you do, it doesn't matter how good you are. There's a reason why McDonald's, we always use the McDonald's example. There's a reason why McDonald's is the biggest, most successful restaurant chain in the world. It's not the quality of the food. It's the marketing. Ray Kroc, God rest his soul, was an absolute genius. That guy knew systems. And he developed a system to where today, many, many years after he's been gone, you can go to any McDonald's in the world, over 33,000 locations, and that cheeseburger is going to taste exactly the same, no matter if you're in Tokyo or you're in, Chicago or you're in Boise, Idaho. And that's all about systems. And Brian is a master of financial systems, and he can help you with funding. So, everything you do with Brian, obviously on a financial level, is confidential. You don't have to contact me. You contact Brian direct. And Brian, how do they contact you?
Yeah, I think what they should do, especially when it talks about funding, we created this awesome clarity guide, a funding possibilities guide for growth-minded business owners, Tom. All they have to do is text 411321, and in the body of the text, put the word possible, POSSIBLE. So the phone number is 6 digits, 411321. And in the body of the text, just one word, put the word possible, and you'll get this wonderful clarity guide. And this is a foundational piece to help any entrepreneur business owner at any stage realize where they should be focusing their time and what's actually available out there. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we wanted to make it really easy for someone to get the information from a quality source so they can actually foundationally get it and understand, okay, this is what's available for me. This is where I should focus my energy if that's the route you want to go. Okay, so that's obviously the best, easiest, most efficient way to get a hold of stuff. Otherwise, they can just go to our website, instigate.com. But either way, you're going to get to us and get the information you need so you can make quality decisions. Because I promise you, it is possible. This entire thing has always been possible. You just need to realize when you're a solopreneur, when you are the sole guy or gal running this business and you start to scale and grow, you cannot do it all. You cannot do it all. And if you rely on cash flow alone, if anything told you what happened in the pandemic, if you rely on cash flow alone, and that's your only source of revenue coming in and out, and you have a proverbial bump in the road that stops that cash flow, you need to have your savings in line. You need to have the lines of credit in line so you can maneuver, keep afloat until things start to happen for you again. That is part of the gig. And you need to have all three. You need to have it all in flow. And it's very critical that you realize I've been in this game for a lot of years. It changes, it maneuvers, trust me. It is a full-time 24/7, 365 obligation to make sure we make it as easy as possible for you to get from A to B without worrying about it.
Yep, as always, very well said. So please, if you are just starting, if you are growing, if you are coming out of the pandemic and you having, doubts or issues moving forward, if you can't access capital, if your cash flow has been cut off, your savings depleted, whatever it is, just contact Brian. We're going to tag and post this video. We're going to tag Brian every week for the next 8 weeks leading up to the Expo. And do yourself a favor, come out to the Expo on May 20th, meet Brian, hear Brian speak, set an appointment with Brian. Brian will be here for a couple of days. So we're going to schedule appointments with entrepreneurs for Brian to meet with. He's helped dozens of entrepreneurs through the Power Networking Club already. We're grateful for you, Brian. And until I think we're going to be doing this on a regular basis for the next 8 weeks. So until next time, Brian, thank you once again for all you do, and we'll talk soon.
No, thank you, Tom. Thank you for all you do. Okay, let's rock this thing. It's 2021. It's time to get this sucker going. Okay, it's time to let's help these businesses get going. Let's go. Okay.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, you got it.